Hi everyone, I'm Nicole, xstitch. Today is December 17th, 2023, and this is Flosstube number 19. As of today, I have stitched 235,045 stitches since I started stitching in 2020, and 3,760 stitches since my last video. So not too much to update you on, but I figured it would be nice to put out one more video before the end of the year, talk about what I've been doing in the last few weeks since I posted last, and also talk about planning for next year and what I want to accomplish in 2024. So I will start with like the normal floss tube type stuff, like finishes, whips, stats, that kind of thing. And then when I get to the plan section, I'll talk about my plans for the rest of this year. And then I actually wanted to do my 2024 WIPGO planning with you guys in the video today. So I have an empty board ready to be filled with projects that I want to do in 2024. I have some ideas. I've got a big list of patterns that I already own that I will use to populate my board. And I will take you guys through what that process looks like for me and how I do that. So let's start with the normal floss tube type stuff. So I have two finishes to show you guys. The first is a piece that I showed as a whip in the last video, which is Carnivorous Terrarium by Lola Crow Cross Stitch. And here is the finished piece. So it turned out pretty good, I think. I really like how it looks. And it was a little piece, not too much. It didn't take too long to do, but there are like a shocking number of colors in there. I actually really liked that though, because it is what gives the piece a lot of depth without being really big. So this piece was a total of 1,516 stitches. I did it 2/1 in the called for DMC on this 36 count Picture This Plus Edinburgh linen in the color Nessie, which is so pretty. I have another small piece and I don't know what I'm going to put on it yet, but I'm really glad that I have it. I think it's a gorgeous color. And I started this one on November 20th and finished it on December 1st. It took me a total of 10 stitching days. So yeah, this is Carnivorous Terrarium. There's a lot of really good back stitching in here too that gives the piece a little bit more detail, and I really like it. I think I might finish it as a flat fold or maybe in a frame. I'm not sure yet, but I have a handful of finished pieces that have just been sitting in my closet that need to be fully finished. So maybe when I get back from traveling for the holidays, we'll do that. We'll see. The other piece that I finally finished that I'm really excited to show you, which I'm pretty sure will also be the thumbnail for this, so you've probably already seen it, is Unexpected Visitors, which is a pattern designed by Night Spirit Studios. And this was a pattern that I started in January of this year. It was on my WIPGO board. It got called in January, and then it didn't get called again until December. But here is the finished piece. Love how that looks. I did this one 1/1 on 28 count, so it turned out like really small and cute, which I think I really love. I think it will look really cute in a small frame on a bookshelf. That is kind of my goal. We just like put a new bookshelf in our living room area, and I think this will look really good there once I finally finish it. And this is just natural linen, and I color converted the DMCs to Threadworks that I just picked out when I was at my local LNS back last year. And I really like how it looks. The colors aren't like super variegated or anything, so they're not that different from the DMC, but it was fun to try out something new. And this one, so like I said, I started it in January, January 30th, 2023. It was actually a February WIPGO call, not a January WIPGO call. I finished it yesterday, December 16th. I spent 41 days working on this, and some of those days I only got like less than 100 stitches in it, but it is a total of 7,808 stitches. So even though it's a small finish, it does have quite a bit of stitching in it, and it was really fun to work on. I enjoyed it a lot. This border, so I had finished like before picking it up for December. I had already finished all of this inside, and I basically just did all of this border and this black fill-in and the flowers up here. It's a lot of stitching in the border, but it is so pretty. I feel like the border really brings the piece together, so it's super worth it. And it was really nice to do on the bus, where I didn't really need to look at my pattern or while watching a show that I cared about a little bit more. So yeah, that is Unexpected Visitors. Now I just gotta find a nice frame for it. Okay, and then the other thing, I only have one other thing to show you. I just started a new WIP last night. So the only thing I was working on in December after finishing Carnivorous Terrarium was Unexpected Visitors. And the only other like WIP that I actually have started or had started is my big Heaven and Earth Designs Hidden Harbor, which I'm not touching again for the rest of this year. I'll pick it up again next year. So I started my last WIPGO call of 2023, which is Mini Art the Goldfish. And let me just, I have a picture. There we go. So this is what the finished piece looks like, kind of like the mock-up of it. So it's a like pretty small. It's another one of these mini art patterns, which you can see I have mine hung up by my desk. So it's a recreation of this painting called The Goldfish. I'm really excited to do this one because this is actually a piece that I had like recreated in pastels when I was in middle school, in my middle school art class. And I think it might still be in my mom's like armoire that we have in our like family room area. It's got like a bunch of like desk stuff in it, and you open it up and there's some like mine and my sister's old like artwork from school hung on the inside. So I think this will be fun. I'm gonna take this like with me home for Christmas so I can finish it before the end of the year and finish my WIPGO. And I think it'll be fun to kind of like compare it to that piece that I did back then. So maybe I'll try to take a picture of it so I can show you guys next time. So yeah, I don't have a big start on this. It is literally just a few green stitches right in the middle. I literally just started it last night, just picked it up. But I think it'll be a good travel stitch. It's nice and small, it literally fits in my tiny bag. So this is everything I need for this project, which I love having something so compact. Let me just pull up my spreadsheet again. Yeah, so I've got 71 stitches in this right now. I'm doing this on 14 count white Aida. Normally in the past, I've done all of the mini art pieces on 28 count over 2, which is the same thing as 14 count, but I finally ran out of the little small offcuts I had of that fabric. And my partner's mom, my boyfriend's mom, had sent some old cross stitching fabric that she was never going to use, and there was a bunch of 14 count white that I cut up into the perfect size to fit in this frame and also the perfect size for these pieces. And I actually, so far, stitching on the 14 count has been nice compared to the 28 count because you can probably tell the holes are pretty big in this fabric. And I stitched this like 3 strands over 1. So 3 strands can get kind of bulky, especially when the fabric holes are pretty small. So this has been a little bit easier to stitch so far than on the 28 count, which always took me a really long time to stitch for the amount of stitches. I think just because the holes were small and like it took kind of like a lot of effort to get the thread through at a certain point when you start getting a lot of stitches in it. And that made like the thread twist more. So far this has been nice. The only complaint I have is I use, I think, size 26 needles, which is normally great, but because the holes of this fabric are so big, if I stick this in one of the holes that doesn't have any threads in it and then like move my piece at all, the needle just falls straight out, which I guess I didn't realize I did this so much, but when I'm coming from the back, right, like I stick my needle through the hole of fabric and then I let go and bring my hand to the front to pull the thread through. I guess probably most people do that. And the needle just keeps falling right out. So I'm having to kind of like adjust how I stitch a little bit. But it's kind of it's been a little clumsy, which I think is kind of funny, honestly. Yeah, that piece has a lot of back stitching on it, which I'll do at the very end. That kind of like brings the whole thing together. I was looking at the mock-up in Pattern Keeper, and it doesn't look like anything, honestly, until you do all the back stitching. Yeah, so that will be the next piece I work on. And I'll talk about plans in a minute. So let's instead go to stats. So I will show you my November stats. Let me find it. Okay, yeah, so here's my November stats. So in November, I had only 3 days that I didn't stitch on anything. And then I worked on 3 different projects: Hidden Harbor, Carnivorous Terrarium, and Enchanted Forest 3, all of which I showed you last time. So I had just, after the video last time, I just like finished up the rest of Carnivorous Terrarium, finished that in the beginning of December. Excuse me. And then as for like the actual stitching numbers, in November, I stitched 10,862 stitches, which put me at a total of 94,518 for this year. And I ended the month with 3 whips and 1 finish. Really, only 1 finish. And then that put me at needing like 5,500 stitches in December to get to 100,000 stitches for this year, which I thought, okay, totally doable. I can do that. So skip forward to December, and I will put that up now. So in December so far, I have stitched on 3 different things: Carnivorous Terrarium, which I finished, Unexpected Visitors, and just started the Goldfish. I've already had 2 non-stitching days, which means that I'll be over 10% of the days this year that, over 10% of this whole year are days that I never stitched, which is fine. I did kind of want to keep it like under 10%, just for no reason except for why not. But it didn't make that this year. And so far this month, I have stitched 2,642 stitches, and I need 2,911 more stitches to hit my 100,000 stitch goal for the year. So I think that that will be possible, and I think I'll be able to do that because I have, so 1 more week of work this week, like this coming week, and on Friday of this coming week, I am flying home to my parents' house with my boyfriend for Christmas, and we're staying there for like a week and a half almost. So I think I'll have a lot of downtime with family, just kind of hanging out, that I'll get to stitch some, and stitch on the plane. It's not a very, very far plane, right? It's just in California, so it's like 2 hours or less on the plane, which is ideal, honestly. I don't mind the short flight. It's quite convenient. No time change, none of that crazy stuff. So traveling is pretty straightforward to get home to my family. I also wore my only Christmas shirt today for you guys. It's my O Chemistry shirt. Yeah, so it has like the periodic table as a Christmas tree, and it also has several very incorrect chemical formulas, which I think is actually kind of hilarious. So yeah, to hit my stats goal for December, I will be finishing the Goldfish, which will add around 1,100 stitches, and then I will need approximately 1,800 stitches more after that. And so the project that I'm planning to work on after is called, I'm not actually sure what exactly it's called, but I call it Starry Night Cat. So it's this like cat looking out the windowsill at starry night. And this piece I want to say is like, actually I have it, so I should just look. This piece is in total like 2,500 stitches. So I don't even have to finish this one to hit my 100,000 goal. But those will be the 2 projects that I bring home with me to work on over the holidays and for the rest of this year. And I think that should be enough to keep me busy. I am like slightly considering if I should bring a third project or not. But probably I should just bring these two, and then I should bring a couple books to read or something else. So those are my plans for the rest of this year. The goldfish and then Starry Night Cat, hit my 100,000 goal, come back in January, film another video for you guys, and that will be like a 2023 total wrap up. I'm thinking of doing something like a little bit like Spotify Wrapped, of like all of the yearly stats. So like total stitches, month I stitched the most, month I stitched the least, like project I put the most work into, biggest project, smallest project, fastest project, something like that. Share some of those stats with you guys, and then also do a finish slash whip parade. It will be more of a finish parade because I don't have that many whips ever, so doing a whip parade would be like 5 minutes. It would be kind of anticlimactic. But I do have, let's see. So I'm expecting to have possibly like 26 finishes to show you. So that will at least be some substantial amount of things to show. And then I'll probably have like 2 or 3 whips. And that will be that. So that's what you can look forward to in the new year. Once 2023 is completely wrapped up, then I can, do all of the calculations for those stats. Yeah, I didn't have any purchases or anything crazy like that. It's holidays. I've been purchasing for other people for gifts. I have like asked for a couple like cross-stitching related things for Christmas, so maybe I'll have some stuff to show you when I film in January. But I think that's kind of all I've got for now. So I think we can hop into the WIPGO planning part of this video. I'm not sure how other people plan their WIPGO boards, but I literally just sit down in front of my spreadsheet and look through the patterns that I haven't stitched that I own, and the whips that I have currently, and I plan out what I want to accomplish for the year. And it works pretty well for me because that gives me like a set of like goals. It lets me sit down and think about like the projects that are most important to me right now. And if those change throughout the year, that's okay. I can change my WIPGO board. But it's a good way to set goals, and that way when I want to like start something new during the year, I don't have to think too hard, because most of the time my WIPGO is telling me what to start and what to work on. And if I want to start something else, I'll just add that in, because normally I do stitch a little bit more than just what's on my WIPGO board. Okay, so with that, I'm going to flip around the screen configuration so you can see my screen and my face at the same time, and we will plan my 2024 WIPGO board. All right, so this is how I plan my WIPGO. I have this Excel sheet that I've created this little WIPGO template in. So this is what my board looks like, and I changed the color theme from year to year. So like I had green in 2022, blue in 2023. This year is going to be yellow. And I already have the free space marked off. I don't put something in my free space because I think if I got 3 calls in 1 month, I might lose my mind a little bit. And then on the left here, I have a different document that has all of the patterns that I have purchased that I haven't stitched yet, except for, so in bold italics are patterns that I have on my WIPGO this year that I haven't stitched yet, but I'm stitching this one right now, so I'm going to remove that. And then in blue, I'm going to highlight my WIPGO 2024 picks so that I know when I look back at the sheet what's on my WIPGO board and what isn't. Also, Starry Night Cat is something that I am going to start. So I'll just leave that in bold for now since I haven't actually started it yet. Okay, so let's get started. I know that this is maybe not the most helpful view because it doesn't have like pictures of the patterns, but I will try to also pull up, I guess, like the images of some of the ones that I'm looking at putting on here. Okay, so the first thing that I'm thinking is, what WIPs do I have that I want to make progress on next year? And the big WIP that I know I will be going into 2024 with is my Hidden Harbor piece. And my goals for Hidden Harbor in the past have been, or like for last year, since I just started it last year, is to make, to do 25% progress each year for 4 years until it's done. So I think I'm going to stay with that theme. And last year I broke up the 25% into 5 calls for 5% each, which worked well for me. 5% is kind of like the most I can do on that piece in a month. Realistically, I think it's like 6,000 stitches. They are half stitches. I can do more than that in theory, but to make it accomplishable, I like to keep it at 5%. So the top row of my board is going to be those calls. I will say one thing. I put like what my goal is in each square as well. But if like, let's say 3 is called in January and 3 says 40%, I'm not going to work on it till 40%. I'm going to work on it until from 25 to 30%. And I will just change this number, like switch it with the other square, and I will just like switch it so that the calls make sense in the order they're actually called. Hopefully that means something. It sounds reasonable and makes sense to everyone. The other thing that I will say is I don't worry about like randomizing my WIPGO board at all. I actually, if I have like a project that I'm trying to work on a lot, I'll usually put it all in the same row because the numbers are called randomly, so it's basically the same difference either way in my opinion. And this makes it easier for me to look at what I've picked. Okay, so first top row is Hidden Harbor. Good, okay. I also, let's see. So the other kind of like series that I have like yearly goals for is this Ocean Wave series. Okay, so you may remember this year I stitched this kind of aerial full coverage view of the ocean, and I found 3 other patterns from the same designer that have kind of a similar theme, and my goal was to stitch is to stitch all 4 of them and hang them up together on a wall together. So it's kind of like a little collage or gallery of ocean waves. So this one is complete. My goal was to do one of these each year for the next 4 years because they are pretty stitch heavy. I think they're like 9,000 to 10,000 stitches per piece. So this will go on my WIPGO board. I'm not sure which one. So there's Ocean Wave 2, Sea Wave is the one I already did. There's this one. So again, these are more similar, but kind of a little different color palette. And then there's this one, which is a little like more deep blue and foamier. So these 3 look a lot more similar than this first one. I'm not sure which one I want to do. I'm kind of leaning towards this one. So let's do this one. I'll call it Ocean Wave 614 because that's what it's called in the pattern. So I'm going to add that to my WIPGO board. Last year, this was 3 calls. Ocean Wave 641. So 33, like a third of the progress for each call. And that's like around 3,000 stitches, which again, was doable, but a push for last year, so I'm not going to try to do any more than that. I don't think I could do half of the pattern in 1 month. So that will go in 3 more squares, then I'll do the other 2 in the coming years. So I will mark that as blue on here. Other series that I want to work on. I always want to stitch more butterflies for my butterfly wall. Let's see, how many butterflies did I put on for this year? 1, 2, 3. That one's maybe not really a butterfly, but kind of 4. Okay, so let's do 4. I'm not gonna pick, maybe I will. Butterfly. So these are normally small enough that I finish them within a month. Which I should probably also write. So butterfly, finish. And then I need to go pick which ones I want this to be. And I literally will just pick based on what looks the most exciting to me as I'm picking. So yeah, let me find those files again. So here are some of these patterns. There's like a monarch butterfly. There's this one. These pictures are a little funny, but this is like a bluish kind of butterfly. There's this, this moth. Okay, I'll probably do this one. I really like that. So we'll put butterfly 17. And then kind of like a white and black one. This like leopardy one, that one's kind of cool. Might pick that one. Oh, this one is like yellow and it has like a lot of vibrant like blue and green colors in it. That one's pretty cool too. Another moth. Okay, this was one that I definitely wanted to do sooner because I don't really have much yellow going on right now on my butterfly wall, as far as I remember. And then let's see the rest of these. Okay, so I'll probably go back and add. Maybe this one, butterfly 19. Sure, why not? And then I have a few other patterns in a different folder. Let me find that first. Okay, yeah, so here are the other ones I have. There's this like little blue and pink one. These ones are, oh, that looks like almost exactly like a different one I think I have. I do kind of like that one though. And that I've already done. That one I have not done yet. That one I have also not done yet. Okay, I think I'll pick this one. So I called this blue and red butterfly, which is also, I think, how I have it named here. So blue and red butterfly. And then I will go through and mark the ones that I just picked out. Okay, so I'll make more progress on my butterfly wall next year. And then the last big series that I want to make progress on is all of these, my mini art collection. How am I going to pick from all of these? It's going to be just based off of vibes. Okay. Let's see. So I'm just looking through these and like trying to picture the paintings in my head. Persistence of Memory. This is like the Dolly painting with the melting clocks. I definitely want to do that one. I think I'm gonna pick, let's see, how many mini arts did I do? I did 5 last year. I think I'm gonna pick 4 or 5 this year. I'm not sure yet. Mini art, Persistence of Memory. These are also always finishes on my board. Oh my gosh, there it is. What else? Those and oranges. Okay, so I did the girl with the pearl earring this year. I think I want to do I think I want to do Mona Lisa also to kind of, it's like, you know, more of a portrait style. Mona Lisa. Oh my gosh. You get to see how bad my typing skills are. Okay, mini art Mona Lisa, so that's 2. And let's see. I think I might do Fine Wind, Clear Morning is like a Mount Fiji painting. Is it Mount Fiji? I think I'll do that one. Okay, I'm gonna have to trim this part up a bit because I want to make sure that I'm not showing any of the actual patterns. But this is Fine Wind, Clear Morning. It's like I don't know, it's a pretty famous painting, but it's like got this beautiful red mountain, Mount Fiji on it. And then, so that one's gonna be on the list. And then let me scroll down and find Mona Lisa. Okay, yeah, and here's the Mona Lisa pattern, which I'll definitely do. And then I also opened up Campo de Trigo, which I don't know that much about this painting, but oops, sorry. Wow, okay. I feel like maybe I'm remembering incorrectly, but I have a weird feeling that this is also a famous painting that I recreated when I was in middle school, in one of the different media that we had. The art teacher kind of like wanted us to try different media, and so this was kind of how we did it. So I think this will be my fourth one, and then here is Persistence of Memory from Dolly. Definitely doing this one. It's just so good. Okay, I think I'm gonna stick with those four. So let me add in that last one, mini art. Okay, so there are all of my recurring themed patterns. Okay, so there are a couple other things that I keep looking at lately that I really, really want to stitch. The first one is Greenwashing by Sprouting Lupine. This pattern is so pretty. I'm gonna have to open it up so that I can figure out how many stitches it is, so I can figure out how many blocks to divide it over. So let me find that now. Okay, so here's what Greenwashing by Sprouting Lupine looks like. I love it. It's so pretty. I got this as part of the Stitchers Collective Earth Day bundle, and I just looked. This piece is about 4,300 stitches, so I think I'll do it over 2 blocks on my WIPGO board. Okay, so there are those spots. Everything's feeling a little squishy. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Why not? Okay. So we've got 6 spots left. What else? Oh, okay. I should do Yosemite Valley. So Yosemite Valley is a mountain type piece. It is not technically cross stitch, but I've been wanting to do it for a long time. I'll pull up the pattern for this one too. Okay, so here's what Yosemite Valley looks like. It's so pretty. I've been wanting to do it for a long time. I have a nice big Nurge hoop and the right fabric for it, and I should have all of the floss because this is called for in DMC, and I'm gonna do it with just a normal 6-stranded cotton. I don't know. I think maybe this one was stitched in pearl cotton, but we'll figure it out. This is pretty big. I'm gonna do it in a pretty big hoop, so it's gonna be a good amount of work. It's also like not, there's no way for me to say like, oh yeah, I'm definitely 30% of the way through this because there's no stitch count or anything like that. It also won't count towards like my total stitch count for the year because I don't really have a good way of counting these. So anyway, that's neither here nor there, but I think I might, I don't know if I should divide this over 2 or 3 months. So I think I'll do 3 for now. And then yeah, I think I'll do 3 for now, and if I realize that it's going to go way faster than that, then I will shrink it down to 2 and find something else to fill that spot on the WIPGO board. Sometimes you just don't know until you start the pattern. Okay. And then the last thing that I had in mind, which is not on this list, I actually haven't bought this pattern yet. And I don't know if I've said this on my channel or not, but I've been wanting to do 2 things. I've been wanting to do a piece. This is kind of inspired by like Cam the Stitcher, who's started a couple pieces that are really like tone on tone, where the one that I'm thinking of, I can't remember the name of the pattern she's doing, but it's this really pretty bright pink fabric with a like slightly darker pink floss, and the tone on tone, it's just so pretty, and it works really well for monochromatic, like big monochromatic pieces. And I've been really wanting to do something like that, so in this tone on tone style. I've also really been wanting to buy a piece of fabric from what's the name of the company? So I've been really wanting to buy this fabric from Cedar River Linens called Arboreal. Let me show you that because it is absolutely gorgeous. It's this like really earthy green color, and also Cedar River Linen is like a small hand-dyed fabric company that's based in the Pacific Northwest, so it's like at home for me. Yeah, so this is Arboreal. Oh, it's so pretty. I feel like it's hard to find these like earthy olivey greens in fabrics. A lot of times they're like leaning more blue or more like lighter yellow. So I'm really really excited for that. Excited for the plan that I have for this, sorry. The other thing that I've been wanting to do is either start a long dog sampler or a modern folk embroidery piece. And so I have decided there's a pattern from Long Dog Samplers called Anzac, which is like a New Zealand and Australia themed piece. It's really neat. It's got a lot of things hidden in there. It's got a lot of cool animals, which I love. And I think it would look gorgeous tone on tone in green. I feel like it suits like the design of the piece and kind of the theme of the piece. So my goal is to buy Anzac, get a piece of Cedar River linen, find a floss that's gonna pop off of the fabric just enough. I don't know what that color is yet. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. And start this piece in 2024. I don't know how many stitches are in this. It is 233 by 243. So if we assume, let's assume that there's 50% stitching coverage on this. I have no idea if that's true or not. And I don't have the pattern, so I haven't put it in Pattern Keeper. So this is the total stitching area, and if it's half covered, it's about 28,000 stitches. So like 10% of, wow, okay, that's not what I wanted. 10% of that is like about 2,800 stitches, which I think would be doable in a month. So I'm gonna put down Anzac and like in 10% increments. So I'll get about a third of the way through. this year. And once I start it, if I feel like I need to adjust that goal, like it's either too many or not enough stitches, I might adjust it as well. Okay, I think that fills out my WIPGO board pretty well. I'm pretty happy with how that looks. I might make some tweaks between now and the beginning of 2024. I might make some tweaks during 2024, but I think this is a really good start. So hopefully that was, I don't know, gave you a little bit of a look into how I plan my WIPGO boards, maybe gave you some ideas for your WIPGO boards. And if you have any questions about WIPGO or about how I plan WIPGO or how I do WIPGO, feel free to drop it in the comments. I'll be happy to answer in my next video. Okay, so I'm gonna flip back so that you don't have to see my screen anymore. Okay, so that's all the cross-stitching stuff that I have to talk about today. I have like a couple small life updates. I've just been spending a lot of like weekend and evening time with friends. We've been hosting a lot of people at our house, you know, trying to see friends before the end of the year. Like I said, I'll be traveling for the holidays back home to my family with my partner, which will be a really nice break. Can't wait for the break. And the other thing that I did recently that I think is maybe notable is I went on a little trip to a local like library book sale. So it's not right where I live, so we had to take. I went with my good friend Ariana. We took a ferry. It's like a 20-minute ferry. We walked on the ferry, walked off the ferry, walked up the hill to this community center where the library in that town does a book sale like quarterly. So they do it 4 times a year. This is the second time we've gone. And they have the best finds. Like I'm always blown away when we go and look. It's like, oh, here's this book I've literally been talking about reading, and it's like just right here sitting on this table for $1. Like most of the books are, it's either $2 for hardback, $1 for like larger paperbacks, and for the really small like pocket size books, it's 50 cents. So incredibly affordable. I leave there with like 10 books for the price of one new at a store. I did actually buy 10 books this time. Yeah, it's always a fun time to go like look through everything that's out on the tables. They have a lot of books out all the time, or like both of the times we've been. I've been really impressed with their selection. And it's just like a fun little morning trip. We take the ferry, we get to walk a little bit. This time was kind of cold and rainy, so a little bit less fun to walk with a bag full of books, but it was a good time nonetheless. And I have a bunch of new books to read, so yeah, those are my life updates. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. I hope you get to take some time off. I hope you get to rest a little bit before the new year, but I will see you in January with the 2023 wrap up. Until then, have a nice rest of the year. Bye.